Australians can expect a once-in-a-decade surge in electricity demand this summer, and that means more blackouts potentially and power outages, making things worse. Thunderstorms like we saw across the country this week. So what can we do about it? Let's find out with Image Matrix Tech Editor Djuro. And Djuro, good to see you. So what can technology do to help us here?
Kenny, good morning to you. Well, you could get one of these things, which is a power station. It weighs a few kilos. This one's from EcoFlow, and I had to use them this week because of the storms in Sydney, and of course we had a blackout here, and that meant that we had to resort to our battery system. Now, I've been testing these EcoFlow devices, so it's pretty good timing, and you're pretty much able to power the whole house. So while I looked around, it was quite fascinating. There were no other houses with lights on at all. And we had a lot of lights going, including the TV, Kenny. Now, I did this again the other day, but that Hisense television right there is being powered by one of these EcoFlow units. So that was just showing off a little bit. Didn't really do it. Needed an emergency to watch it, but, you know, you never know when you have to binge a TV show in a blackout. But it just goes to show that I can run TVs, fridges, all sorts of stuff without having to do some heavy rewiring of the place. And this battery technology is better than the traditional lithium-ion batteries because it's much safer now. They charge much more regularly. What I mean by that is that you can charge them many, many more times and not worry about the battery giving out on you. So they're tougher as well. Like I said, I'm just using the EcoFlow ones now, but there are many brands out there doing a great job. Just make sure you're getting one that's a reliable one. You can use an app to control it, but it's a reasonably cheap way. The one I held up before was about $1,500. You can do your fridge, you can do everything else in the house to a certain to a certain amount, and you also can charge it with solar. So they're not just good for camping, Kenny, but these portable battery power stations are really important to have lying around, and you can just have them plugged in all the time. So if something gives way, in just a matter of milliseconds, it can then fire up. And I actually tested the TV, cut the power, and the TV doesn't know because it kicks in really fast. So it's like a UPS. So very stern advice from me, make sure you look at getting one of these little units during the summer.
Wow, very useful. And what about staying online? So mobile coverage could be patchy during outages as well.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, gone are the days when you used to still have power with your phone line. Telstra still has a minimal amount, but now you have to look at things like to stay online with Starlink. And, you know, I've got a Starlink unit, and as long as you've got power, like one of these power stations, you can fire that up and get connectivity. And because when the power goes out, generally the NBN goes out in the neighbourhood. So if you don't have the cell coverage, then satellite's a good option. If you're looking at something like Starlink and you live in the city, try and get the roaming package because you get the unit and you can pause the actual subscription while you're not going out in the bush. So that's a really good sort of backup. And I've had it for a couple of months, Kenny, and I finally actually got it out yesterday. So I have been paying for it the last few months, but what a great service.
Yeah, I'd hate to see your electricity bill, Djuro, considering how many gadgets you have. Look, Wi-Fi 7 is now available. What is it and why should we care about it?
It's a lot faster than Wi-Fi 6, put it that way, Kenny. And this new modem is ready to go. Yeah, Wi-Fi 7 is really fresh, and they really haven't dotted all the I's and crossed the T's for the spec. But this Nighthawk modem from Netgear, I mean, Netgear's modems, they're big, they're beefy, but my goodness, are they fast. I mean, you look at this unit, and if you're upgrading anytime soon, go to Wi-Fi 7. What are the benefits? Well, you'll be right for years to come. And you know when you hear this tri-band thing, those routers, the previous routers could only use one channel at a time, like 2.4 gigahertz or 5. Well, they can use all of them here on this, and up to 200 devices. It's twice as fast, as I said, as Wi-Fi 6. This modem here that we're looking at, this Wi-Fi router, can do 19 gigabits per second. That is insane. And Wi-Fi 7 is definitely the future. You don't have to rush out and get it, but it gives you extra reach. And this is not even a mesh one. It'll just blast out around your house, through the brick, down the yard, no problems with Wi-Fi 7. So, yes, if you're looking for a new router, then this is the way to go. Wi-Fi 7 coming your way soon.
Finally, Djuro, cold cuppa is a thing of the past for Aussies thanks to Smart Mug technology.
Can you believe this? So last night, this is an amazing Ember Smart Mug. We've been waiting for this to come to Australia, and it finally has. So I'm a big coffee drinker, but I have tea occasionally. And I tried it out last night. It's really weird to get a mug and actually update the firmware, Kenny. And don't put this in the dishwasher, but you can do it. And I had to sync an app up to it. Look at this, Bluetooth. And this is a cup. Now, the great thing is, I think the ideal temperature is between 50 and 62 degrees for the best cup of tea. And after going through all that, you just use the app. You've got to use the app. You have to have an app with your cup of tea. And there you go. I put my finger on it. Man, it was hot. Actually burnt my finger. But it works really well. I made a cup of tea, had it for about an hour last night. And like I said, I even washed it up. Like I said, don't put it in the dishwasher, otherwise it won't work for you down the track. But I've got to say, this sounds a bit crazy to get, but once you get an idea of keeping that cup of tea warm through the winter months, it's going to be absolutely sensational. There you can see I'm having a sip there, and it's 62 degrees. And I've got to say, my cup of tea never tasted better, Kenny.
Well, this mug seems like a bit of a relic, the one that I've got this on this table here at the desk.
No mugs game, Kenny.
Thanks, Djuro. See you next week, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.